What's up, guys? This is Manoj Papani. I welcome you all on behalf of the Edupedia world. Let's mark the beginning of this wonderful presentation. This is the fourth presentation relating to the topic of corporate governance and audit committee. By now, we have already covered the major topics related to corporate governance and audit committee in our previous three presentations. This is the fourth video presentation, and I'll be covering a few more topics in this particular presentation. So, are you guys all set? Fasten up your seatbelts. We are about to take off with the first topic of the day, and that will be. So, guys, as an auditor, what you should need to verify, okay, with respect to each one of these segments, be it about composition of board, be it about compensation and disclosure, be it about board meetings and committee, be it about code of conduct. So, let's mark the beginning with composition of board. We all know that 50% of board requires the composition of non-executive directors and their involvement in the company. So, as an auditor, you need to ascertain whether throughout the reporting period, not less than 50% of the board of directors comprise of non-executive directors or not. That should be the first thing. Second, you need to verify the minutes of the board, ascertaining as to which director is an independent director and whether a director is an executive director or a non-executive director. You need to assess that. Next, you will examine the annual declaration which is given by the directors to the board of directors for this purpose. You will examine the procedures which are followed, if any, by the board of directors to ascertain the independence of directors. You will evaluate the real independence of non-executive directors by reference to the stipulations which are laid down under clause 49. Executive directors can never be considered independent, guys. Remember that, because they will be like biased towards their company. Obviously, they are the executive ones, they are working for that company. They can never be considered independent. But non-executive directors may or may not be independent. That depends of their being a promoter. Maybe there could be a case wherein the non-executive director is a promoter, though it is he or she is not actually working directly with the normal day-to-day affairs of the company, but still they are the promoters. They have put in their hard-earned cash on that, so they might be independent or might not be. But executive directors can never be considered independent. So you need to evaluate the real independence of non-executive directors. Verify compliance with condition as to minimum number of independent directors, one third and one half, as the case may be. I just briefly narrated to you in clause 49. You need to look into that. You need to look into the effect of changes in the composition of board and its chairman, and what kind of impact does it had on the compliance throughout the reporting period. You need to verify whether the age condition, remember 21 years old minimum, as to the independent director is satisfied with appropriate evidence or not. All these things need to be taken care of by you as an auditor while you go for composition of board checking. Okay, you need to ensure that verify these requirements, whether the same things are happening properly or not. All these were the exhaustive list, and I just provided you the best of examples. Go and next time whenever you do any of your audit with respect to clause number 49 of listing agreement, you can check on these points. Perfect, guys. Let's move to the compensation and disclosure part. So what can you do as far as this compensation and disclosure part is involved? So first of all, you can ascertain from the minutes of the board meeting, shareholders meeting, the relevant agenda kind of papers, notices, explanatory statements, that whether the remuneration of non-executive directors or independent directors has been decided by the board, and whether the previous approval by the shareholders in general meeting was obtained or not. Remember, it was mentioned in that compensation disclosure. So you need to assess that whether it has been like decided by the board of directors and the previous approval of shareholders in general meeting has been obtained or not. Okay. You need to verify whether the remuneration is in compliance with various sections of Companies Act and SEBI guidelines or not. You need to assess that. If in case they are exceeding that, then why are they exceeding? And if in case they are exceeding, whether the proper previous approval of shareholders in general meeting was obtained or not. Refer to the articles of association of the company wherever possible. Examine the report of board of directors on corporate governance required to be included in the annual report, and ascertain whether the same contains the disclosure required for remuneration to non-executive directors or not. Correlate this data, basically. Correlate this data with the data which is contained in the financial statements. So thereby you can get an idea as to whether both the figures are same or not. And where the value of employee stock option has to be determined. The services of expert may be utilized. Okay, then in that regard, compliance with standard on auditing is required. So all these things you can do with respect to compensation and disclosure part. I hope you guys are clear with what is supposed to be done from your end as far as the clause number 49 of listing agreement and the compensation and disclosures is required. Now let's move towards the board and committees. Okay, so again, you need to ascertain whether the board meetings were held at least 4 times a year with a maximum time gap of 4 months between any two meetings. You need to assess that first of all. Ascertain whether the minimum information was made available to the board or not. Remember, I just briefly discussed with you Annexure 1A IA of 49, clause number 49. So that's what it's all about, the minimum information. So ascertain whether those minimum information was made available to the board or not. Examine whether the director is not a member in more than 10 committees or chairman in more than 5 committees across all the companies in which he is director. You need to assess that. Where? Minutes, obviously. Verify the mandatory annual declaration by every director to inform to the company about the committee positions he occupies in other companies and notification of those changes as and when they take place. You need to see whether management has taken suitable steps and has put in place the kind of policies and procedures which need to be done in order to ensure the compliance of various laws and regulations and whether they are able to detect some deviations from such provisions or not. Auditor shall consider the requirement of SA 250, error and fraud. So all this thing, guys, you need to ensure one after the other. All this was relating to board and committees. There are n number of things that you as an auditor can do while you are auditing any of the clause 49 of listing agreement in relation to board of directors. And finally, if I'll talk about the laying of the code of conduct. So ascertain whether the board has laid down a code of conduct for all the members and senior personnel of the company or not. If in case they have laid down that code of conduct, then you need to obtain that copy of same. Whether copy is being available to you or not, you need to mention that in your report. Again, verify whether the board members and senior management personnel have affirmed their compliance with the code of conduct on annual basis or not, and whether the code has been posted on the company's website itself or not. This thing will be covered under code of conduct. So are you guys clear with the kind of requirement that you as an auditor are expected out of to perform in relation to clause number 49I of listing agreement in relation to board of directors? It talks about composition of board, compensation disclosure, board and committees, and code of conduct. I hope I was able to provide you n number of examples with which you can move and proceed towards your audit in respect of this. Perfect, guys. Do revise your topic time and again because that is something which is extremely crucial for you. I have made you understand so many things. Do not waste that. Do not put my efforts in vain. Do revise your topic time and again because that is something which is extremely important. I'll be concluding my video with a dose of motivation, and that will be action must be taken at once. There is no time to be lost. Miguel Hidalgo was a person who mentioned this quote. So obviously action has to be taken. Action is the only thing which is required at this moment of time. You need to take action because time is getting wasted each time you're watching up. So all you need to do is respect the time and take action. Take action and learn from those actions. Make mistakes. No worries. Do make mistake. I'm there standing with you guys. Everybody is there to help you up if in case you make mistake. But you need to learn from those mistakes. And that can happen only if in case you are willing to take up actions. Don't hesitate. Come out of your comfort zone and take actions in your life. Keep studying. Revise your topics time and again. Focus on your CA curriculum. Focus on other extra co-curricular activities. Stay punctual in whatever you do. Do not procrastinate any of the things. Take actions. That's it. I'll say thank you on behalf of the Edupedia world. Keep interacting via questions, queries, and YouTube comment boxes. I will love to answer each one of your queries if in case you have one for me. If in case you like the video, do give us a thumbs up and motivate us. Stay connected. That will help us in understanding Ganit way better. I'll see you in the next presentation with the remaining topics relating to corporate governance and audit committee. Till then, sayonara, good luck, God bless you. See you all. Bye. Take care.